Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. We were just declaring that we are awake and ready to go. And it reminded me of something that I remember from the Moses Code movie, the Lost Moses Code movie that we saw here a couple of days ago, when Ianla Van Zant talked about how the inner part of us does not understand the difference between what we give and what we receive. And this is also part of the brain chemistry that Harville Hendricks talked about. But she said that God is let me think, what was the right word that I wanted to use? Well, God always gives you what you ask for. So if you say, I'm tired, well, and then so shall it be. I am sad, then so shall it be. But if every morning we wake up and say, I'm ready, I'm awake, then so shall it be. So this is why every morning we begin our lesson with just that. I am awake, I am ready. So let me ask you again, how is everyone today? How feels everyone? Stay with me. I am awake.
Awake and ready.
I am ready. And so shall it be. All right. That felt pretty good. Feels good, doesn't it? I mean, you could do a little test. You can say, I am not ready. I'm not ready for this. Just feel that in your body, the resistance there. Now say, I am ready. I am ready. Oh, feel that. Big difference, isn't it? So powerful and so simple. These simple words that we use to declare who we are, where we are, what's really happening. And in fact, this morning, Scott told me a story that I thought would be good to share. I'm going to be turning it over to Vicki. Vicki's going to guide us in today, but I thought we would start with a gratitude story. This is a story about our friend Jim Carrey. You all know who Jim Carrey is, right? Pretty awake guy, I got to say. Apparently, Jim was on Maui. Is that what the island? He was on the big island of Hawaii. And somehow there was a declaration or an announcement that in 10 minutes they were going to be bombed by a nuclear weapon. And everyone thought this was true. And all of his friends that were there said, let's get in our cars and we can all join and we can meet somewhere. And they were all very afraid and we wanted to come together and share their fear. And Jim basically said, I'm not going to do that. I just want to sit here and be grateful for my life. I just want to sit here and think about all the things I have to be grateful for, all the people who I love and who love me, all of the opportunities that I've been given. If these are the last minutes of my life, I want to spend them being grateful. And of course, 5 minutes later, the announcement came that it was a false alarm. But it was a great lesson. So my question to you is, if you heard that right now, wherever you are, 10 minutes from now, this is going to happen, how would you feel? What would you do? Would you be able to just rest in that same gratitude and not worry about the rest? Not worry about the rest while you rest? It's a good question, something to think about. I have the feeling that most of you would be exactly as Jim was. We have been blessed, and we don't know, none of us know what an hour from now will bring, or 10 minutes, or 2 weeks. But to be able to just sit and rest in gratitude for all of the blessings we have been given, I think that's a beautiful lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Vicki now, and she's going to launch our session, and then I will follow her today. So good morning, Victoria.
Well, good morning, Brother James, and good morning, everybody. And thank you for that example, because it kind of flows right into what I had for a thought for today. But before I do that, I just have to take a moment to say I watched the video from yesterday, and I'm telling you, it filled my heart with joy. I mean, joy. I had tears coming because I could see James, the sweetness in you, talking about Claire and talking about Francis, and the sweetness of union and of loving each other and coming to only that one love. I could see and flow that exuberance of spirit that's the light of Christ. And then Akalde, I could see grace just move her to these movements, just a flow of grace. And I knew I was witnessing Christ, what it looks like to see and feel and hear and be with the light of Christ with one another. So I'm telling you, it was a particularly stunning blend of love and light in expression. And all of you in the room together makes a backdrop that embraces the wholeness of what this love is. And so I had to say that. But and I want to thank you all, and thank you that we have been given to each other, and we know it, and we recognize it. We get to play with it every day. So what I wanted to mention today is going to step off of where James was yesterday. So you see, I brought Jesus with me today. Hi, Jesus. I hold hands with him a lot because it's so fun for me. It's always been fun to use props, especially when you're a devotional type, whether you use beads or statues or books or all of the devotional tools, songs and prayers and all the rest of it are ways to play, to pay attention, to staying mindful, to love, to God in one form or another. But the purpose of them is to move through them and beyond them so that they're not helpful anymore. In fact, they just fall away on their own because they fulfilled their purpose. And that's that state of Christ's light. With Jesus, it was the movement from transformation to transfiguration. And we witness that in his own life when we see Jesus turning over the tables and got a little angry and lost his vision for a moment. And then we see him, turning to light with Moses and Elijah. We are in the moment of transfiguration. We have spent years together in transformation, in healing and forgiveness work and devotionals and all the rest of it. But our time now is there's a clarion call going out for the paradigm shift that's happening in space and time, because finally we're using our minds to be aware of love instead of catering to fear. That's all that's happening. But with that is the complete transfiguration of our own being and the world around us and the greater world of time and space around us. That's what's happening. And when we have moments of recognizing it, there's no outside awareness. There's just the recognition, as James says often, let love live us. Love is living us. It's not something we're trying to manipulate anymore. It's recognizing when love is living with us. And another thing you had said, and Joel Goldsmith does this so well, go to God for God, whether it's in the devotionals or it's a prayer or whatever it is, or it's a request or a need. When we go to God for a request for something timely, we're still requesting some better form of separation. When we go to God for nothing, just for the joy of resting in the everything, the allness, the first, the last, the everything, the allness, when we rest there, we don't have to worry about this ailment or that relationship. It unfolds by grace, because all we don't ask. We come, and that's that state of gratitude, and we rest in that one love. And then everything flows through. And whatever the will of love is will be expressed through us, as us, in our brothers, in our sisters, wherever we find ourselves. We come as we are, and we wholeheartedly put down our burdens, literally put them down, and take up the light of love. That's going to God for God. That's the experience of transfiguration rather than more transformation. The other day, I had a neighbor here, and there was a serious situation in her family, a big upset, and police and ambulances and hospitals and all sorts of things were involved. And I was just called to be with her. And I was, and again, so grateful because I recognized it isn't just a call for love, it was a recognition to rejoice, which was, really funny, but it was because I could see it didn't, and it wouldn't take any of us much to see this, that there was a big breakdown in an addictive system that was breaking loose, that had bottomed out, that was ready for a big moment of help and of light breaking through. And before the afternoon was over, and I did not say this, all of us know, it's not very helpful to tell someone in trauma, don't worry about it, it's not real. It doesn't go over well. So I'm just there, and in my heart, truly rejoicing. When you were talking about never leave your place on high. Don't lose our vision. Don't lose our vision, whether it's Adolf Hitler or Donald Trump or your neighbor next door in a pitiful breakdown situation. Keep our vision on high. See the essence of everything. But when seeing the essence is no longer an effort, it's just natural. You just see, oh, that outer costume is falling away because the light's breaking through. What a wondrous thing that's happening. By the end of the afternoon, my neighbor and we never talked about it. I just listened. I was present. This is the gift of being with one another, where communication happens by the energy we are, not by the words we speak. Just like yesterday's Namaste, there was an energy being transmitted of unconditional love. It came through in every way. What we hold as what our energy is, when we are in a state of love, that communicates. So by the end of the day, we ended up going for a bike ride together. She was having a great time, and she had supper, and we had spaghetti and my favorite dinner, and it ended up, as always, it ends up in a party. Kathy was here. It ends up in a party without a word about anything else. Because when we don't have our own agenda, I have no agenda. I figure my life's not my business. I don't know what's my business. The moment in front of me to celebrate and to be grateful for and to rejoice in, it's all of us. It's our only business. Being grateful for what's in front of us, knowing God is in front of us, behind us, around us, next to us, and we don't have to figure anything out. I'm so grateful that I don't have any work to do, that it's all His to do. And the prompts of love are always joyful. They're not giddy, happy, fun always in the expression of it, but they are a joyful experience within us. That's the difference from transformation that prays and holds on and practices lots of forgiveness work and does all of the steps and all of that, into the ease of simply aware of love as our everything, and that accepting it, that we are that. The acceptance of the light of Christ is a much bigger step than we realize. I mean, when you look at something like the Course in Miracles, a month and a half into it, Jesus says, oh, you're healed and you're whole and you go out and heal. Don't worry about a thing. That's after that. I think that's lesson 75. Imagine that, a month and a half after coming from a world consciousness, he's saying, that's it, you got it. We would all have it if we accepted it. But transfiguration is the moment, the point where we accept it. And as a collective family, that's the point I feel we are in today. We are accepting it and celebrating it. Okay, Brother James, that's it. Can you take it away from there?
Okay, I'll take it from here. I love this. Switching it around once in a while is a really fun idea. And I love this idea of moving from transformation to transfiguration when the light breaks through. We've probably seen movies where suddenly, like in The Matrix, when suddenly the form begins to crack and then the light just bursts out. And this is literally exactly what is happening. This is what's happening to each one of us. We may be at slightly different stages of that breakthrough, but you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be coming to these beautiful gatherings every day if you weren't ready, if it wasn't happening. Otherwise, it would be too concretized. It would be too firm. You're breaking free from all of those limitations, and transformation means you're still trying to form something. Yeah, you're trying to pull something together and make something happen for you. And that's why the key to beginning the process of transfiguration is to have no agenda. The self always has an agenda, always. I want this. I hope that. Whatever it may be, it'll show up in 1,000 different ways, but there's always an agenda that serves the self. How is this going to help me, right? Having no agenda except to celebrate whatever is happening in the moment. Whatever is happening right now, I'm going to celebrate it, even though it may be difficult, even though it may be traumatic. My willingness to celebrate, not necessarily, yay, look what just happened, like Vicky said, but to inwardly have this feeling of everything that happens is bringing me closer to that full-hearted awakening. No matter what it is, everything conspires to the awakening. And so I have to give up my agenda so that the only agenda I have is that awakening, is that transfiguration. But there's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do, the only thing we can do is give up the agenda, trying to get, and then begin to give. Start giving it away. That's always the surest way to know what is already within you, is to be the source of it to whoever's right there in front of you. So these are very simple lessons. We just have to apply them to our lives. And then the transfiguration begins to happen on its own, especially when we are in a holy communion of mighty companions who are making the same commitment. That's the value of being at a place like Namaste Village, or just being with us on the Zoom sessions, or watching it on YouTube. No matter where or when, it's happening right now through and as you. The transfiguration is wanting to break through. And as soon as we give up any agenda, it happens. Beautiful. Vicky, anything else you'd like to add to that?
There's one other thing I wanted to mention, and I cannot wait to see it, but I'd love to see that first edit of the Moses Code that you did that wasn't manicured by, some slick movie artist that did The Secret. I would like to see the raw experience that came to you, because I think that's what we're realizing now, the simplicity of expression that comes kind of naturally through us to learn to trust it. And I would bet that that version, that particular edit, has quite an elegant simplicity about it. So I do hope it goes on YouTube. And I think all of us are starting to recognize that Christ's presence, that Christ spark. It's like a pitch wherever it's showing up. But I would bet you donuts to dollars that that first edit has that pitch. Not that the second one didn't as well, perhaps it did, but I would bet this is more, has more of a sparkle in it. So I'll be waiting to see.
I think it does. And that's the feedback that I've been hearing from everyone who watched it on Monday night. It's interesting. I was speaking to Miranda McPherson yesterday, who arrived, and she'll be doing her workshop tomorrow night and Saturday. And I see Miranda as one of the premier voices of transfiguration. not even of transformation, but of transfiguration. And yet, she's never had a best-selling book. She's not as widely known as some people. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. And the reason is because, and I can really relate to this, the reason is she's not willing to compromise her message so that it appeals to the masses. Okay. If you want a message or a spiritual book or whatever, or a movie to be widely, hugely successful, you have to aim not for the mountaintop. You have to aim for the village at the bottom of the mountain. All right. Because let's face it, most people are more interested in transformation than they are transfiguration. They don't want to be completely transfigured. They want to transform, to form whatever it is they want or think that they don't have into a particular image or form. And so there are people that I know, I won't mention names, who are hugely successful as spiritual authors. And because I know them well, I know that they have a transfigured mind that can teach it from the mountaintop. And yet what I see in them is writing books that are nowhere near, not even the first stage of the mountain, but down at the village, because they know they're going to sell 1 million books that way. So it was very refreshing to have someone like Miranda speak about that, who you're all going to find is so amazing. By the way, those of you who are on Zoom, you can watch it on Zoom. We need to get the link out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll send the link out in an email so that everyone can get that. So watch for that link so you can be with us either tomorrow night or all day Saturday. And you're going to find this is someone who doesn't give a shit. She does, and there is power in that. There is power in when you don't care, but you're going to just give it the way that it opened inside you. There's, in other words, no agenda. I don't have an agenda that X number of people read a book or watch a movie. I don't care. And Miranda doesn't care, because the only thing that we care about is giving the pure message, preaching it from the mountaintop. That's where transfiguration happens. And if people want to climb the mountain and join us there, fantastic. If they're not quite ready for that, that's okay too. They will be, because this is a guaranteed course. Only the time we take it is optional. But we're all here and we're all ready. And that's why it's so important for each one of us to make this choice, so that we literally become the clarion call. We literally become that lamp or that fire on the hill. This is why Jesus said, you don't light a fire and then put a bushel basket over it. What good would that do? If you want to have an impact, you light the fire at the top of the hill so that everyone will see it. And that's what we're doing. We're lighting a fire at the top of the hill. But we have no agenda that anyone climb that hill. The only thing that needs to happen is that I need to climb that hill. You don't need to do it. I need to do it. That's when I transfigure. That's when I give up trying to form it in a particular way. When you don't care anymore. There's such power, such energy when you just give up caring about how that's going to happen. Sound good? Vicky, any final thoughts on that?
One little announcement. Unify, one of the big peace organizations, is requesting and offering a day of world peace. And at noon, wherever you are, asking for 1 minute of silence. Actually, it was Ringo Starr's idea. So wherever you are, if you can join for 1 minute of holy peace, a minute of peace and silence, to join and let our minds come together and offer nothing but peace in and out of time. Noon today. Thank you, Brother James.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you. Now let's go climb that mountain together.
Today, around Rotary around the world is World Peace Day, September the 21st.
That's right. Yeah. That's the United Nations World Peace Day. All right. So we say together, Amen, Amen, Amen y punto. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you. I love you.
you.
See you tomorrow.